and I'll let you know how it went.
For some people, the thought of family will never be the same because their families have been changed forever because of the result of drunk driving. It was about 2 weeks ago in St. Paul, a candlelight vigil was held. Let's take a look at it right now. This was held by the Mothers Against Drunk Driving here in Minnesota to remind us of the 277 Minnesotans who died last year in accidents caused by drunk drivers. The families they left behind are trying to do something about these tragedies. In a moment, we're going to meet some people who are very concerned about what could happen over the new year, but this is what happened and the message we got at the vigil.
The people who were responsible for putting the alcohol in the teenager's hand might just as well have given him a gun.
Joining us right now is Pat Budig. She's from Lino Lakes. It was just last January that her husband Steve was killed in an accident that was caused by drunk driving. Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Next to her is Colonel Roger Letting. He is the traffic safety coordinator for the Department of Transportation for Minnesota. Welcome, Colonel. Pat, let's start with you. What happened last January to Steve?
Last January on a Friday evening, my husband and son went to a local fast food place to bring food home for everybody. And 2 minutes from our home, they were hit head-on by a drunk driver.
That close to home. Just
Right.
ran out to get some food and
Right.
And you happened to be on the highway, too.
I was bringing my daughter to the high school to participate in a cheerleading, and we followed through highway patrol and an ambulance to the scene of the crash.
And you didn't know that he was the one who had been in the accident?
I didn't know. They didn't tell us for about 40 minutes.
How did you find out that it was caused by a drunk driver?
I found out there was drinking involved because the tow truck operator told me that the police had told him.
There?
No, I found out about a week afterwards.
And what was your reaction?
It was disgust, for one thing. Steve and I were very interested in the cause of, people driving and drinking and the waste and the risks they're taking. And to think that his life ended that way it's just such a terrible waste.
So you were aware of it before? It was a concern of yours before?
Absolutely, right.
Okay. And this incident left behind you and how many children?
5 children.
Ages?
10 through 18.
What happened to the
Now,
driver?
The driver was sentenced last week. He was found guilty of criminal vehicular operation resulting in death and was sentenced to 6 months in the workhouse or in the jail with work release privileges, 5 years probation, restitution, that kind of thing.
How do you feel about that?
Under state law, that's, the state law that was in effect at the time of our crash. That's about what we can expect, but it's not enough, I don't think.
I don't think either. Colonel, have the laws changed since then?
Not recently they haven't, but there are some laws, there are some changes that are coming up, Sharon. There's going to be an attempt to have the law enforcement officer will confiscate the license tabs, the license plates right at the scene. There's also, I'm sure there's going to be an effort this time to get the blood alcohol down to a .08. And I guess that the concern I've got is that there's a feeling amongst people that if I stay below a .10, which is what it is right now, a .10 alcohol level in their system, that they don't have to concern themselves with a drunk driving charge. And that's not true.
It's not true.
You can be charged with drunk driving if you are at a .06 or a .07, anything between the 5 and the 10. So the .10 is a different section of the law.
What we want to do, of course, is to discourage people from drinking and driving. Give us some incentive not to drink and drive this weekend.
You bet. Aside from the fact that you could injure yourself or someone else or kill someone, a situation that happened with Pat's husband, if you are convicted of a drunk driving violation, first of all, you can have your automobile towed. You're going to pay the tow charges on that. You're going to suffer the embarrassment and inconvenience of being placed in protective custody for a period of time.
Placed in protective custody? What does that mean?
Well, you're going to go to jail. You're going to spend some time in jail until you are sober enough to conduct yourself like a normal human being would.
Okay, so right there on the scene, you're going to go to jail.
That's right.
If you have a breath test and it says that you don't.
That's right. Or if you refuse to give the test, you're still going to jail. The fact that you refuse to give the test only lengthens the time that your license is going to be kept away from you.
Okay.
If you give the test and the test is above the .10, you would lose your license for a 30-day period. If you refuse to give the test, you would lose your license for 1 year. If you're convicted of the violation, there's
So then you're going to go to court.
That's
And
right.
if you're convicted, what happens?
If you choose to have an attorney, you'll pay the attorney fees, whatever that happens to be.
Okay.
If you're convicted, the fine is $770 plus a $75 assessment. The court will conduct a chemical assessment to determine whether you have a chemical dependency problem. If it's determined that you have that problem, then you're going to have to go through the treatment, and if you don't have insurance, you'll pay for that out of your own pocket. That could run $2,500 to $3,000.
So the total cost of all this for the first offense could be?
After you've paid your insurance and you've paid the $200 fee that you have to pay in order to get your driver's license back, over a 5-year period will run just over $20,000, and that's for a couple of drinks. Now, why would anybody want to be foolish enough to take a chance when they could spend $20 for cab fare and tip the cab driver very lavishly and be able to go down and get the car the next day if that's the need. But,
So your message to people, Colonel, is what?
I can't imagine why anybody, knowing that the possibility of getting picked up financially, the cost is so great that I would think that anybody would be foolish to even want to throw $20,000 away. And if you don't want to consider the fact that you might hurt yourself or someone else, just think of the financial aspect of it.
Yeah, plus the
It's
embarrassment.
tremendous.
But Pat, how about you? What is your message to people?
Please don't get in a car. Don't choose. It is a choice you've got, and don't make the choice to get in a car after you've been drinking, because lives can be lost, and a lot of people don't understand that until it happens to them. We didn't think it could happen to us, and it did.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank you.
Sober Cab is working, right?
Yes,
It is available.
That's great.
Okay, and there is a number, 588-2771 for Sober Cab. It is operating this year in the Twin Cities.